So, it's the big day at Ching Cheng Academy, the Profession Awakening ceremony. Everyone's hyped, right? Future heroes, magicians, dragon tamers, and then there's Yechuan. The light flashes, the system chimes, and boom! Divine tier life profession, pig butcher. Yeah, the entire academy lost it. They thought the system was trolling him. But here's where it gets wild. His stats? Insane. His skills? All buffed against pigs. And the funniest part? To Yechuan, everyone looks like a pig. Turns out, he's got this weird condition, a messed up spine pressing on his brain, and now he literally sees the world as one giant pig farm. People mocked him, called him useless. But the moment someone tried to test him, one glare from Yechuan and even the academy's top student froze, like a roast on display. Every pig he slaughters, more power, more strength, more chaos. The world laughs at him, but Yechuan just grins, because in his eyes, they're all pigs. And I know for a fact, he's gonna farm the shit out of them. Anyway, the sauce of the manhwa is the pig-slaughtering blade that pierces all realms. Comment oink oink if you want part 2. Enjoy. This epic manhwa starts with the hospital, in the psychiatry department. The doctor assessed a patient who saw every living being looked like a pig. The man nodded his head. She thought he was kidding. She stuck her tongue out and asked if he saw her as a pig too. It was like she was teasing and seducing the young boy. But our not-simp MC replied yes. The man looked unwell, especially with his eyes having small pupils. He saw the doctor as a pig with eyeglasses and wearing a lab coat. The doctor expressed that it was the first time she heard something like that. At the same time, she finds him handsome. She unbuttoned her shirt and approached him. She wanted to check if his manhood was still functioning properly. She asked what he's seeing right now. Deep inside her, she refused to be seen as a pig. But when she revealed her chest to him, he only saw 2 pigs. She was surprised, and that confirmed that he really was a psychopath. She then informed him that his spine has a serious issue. She informed him that there was a part where it was severely deformed, even a bit twisted, and it pressed on his optic nerves. After knowing the cause, he wanted to ask for the solution. They could do a spinal correction surgery, but the success rate was low. If it fails, he could be paralyzed from the neck down. He was in a daze for a bit. Then he asked her if she's done talking. And he asked if he could have his spine back. She couldn't believe that he treated the model as his own spine. She thinks it was such a shame since he was really handsome. After that, he left and rode a bus. He was carrying a folder which states, "Severe mental disorder," and he didn't bother to hide it so people were glancing at him. This person was Yechuan. Since he can remember, everything he sees looks like a pig. It could be because his parents were pig butchers that it doesn't really affect his life, except when it comes to dating. It was the day when they were to awaken their class, and he hoped to fix his illness before his awakening. But it looked like it's not going to happen. He arrived at the Ching Cheng Academy class awakening ceremony. He wondered if his illness would affect the awakening. If so, it would be a huge problem. Suddenly, a girl called him. She was waiting for him. If he was late, she would actually beat him up. He saw her as a pig, so he was slightly repelled when she was acting cute. He didn't answer. Then someone asked a girl named Shu Ling Xuan on why she's clinging to him again. They were always so lovey-dovey. Some people called them childhood sweethearts and expected them to get married and have kids right after awakening. It made Ling Xuan blush. She told Chuan to just ignore them. But deep inside, Chuan was creeped out. Later on, everyone was instructed to line up according to their student number because the awakening ceremony was about to begin. It was the time to show the results of everything they had learned at school. Their awakening would be based on their strength, agility, and spirit. The higher their stats, the greater the chance of awakening a high-tier class. Everyone was told to focus all their strength during the awakening. The class they will awaken would affect their entire life. If someone awakens as a high-tier combat class, it's basically defying fate, causing them to earn the admiration of all, and it would bring endless glory to Ching Cheng Academy. They had begun. Students would one by one place a hand on the stone platform. The first student did it. Then it showed that he would be a life class, an immediate fitter. He was terrified of that result. The next student was classified as Life Class Advanced Mason. The one after him was a Life Class Low-Tier Engineer. The succeeding student became more nervous. His hand trembled as he approached the stone. The stone emits a golden light and revealed that he's a combat class, Rare-Tier Shadowblade Master. Everyone was surprised since it was a rare tier. The principal asked his name. He was Liu Jinglong. This fucker's expression suddenly became smug now. The principal told him to rest for the time being, and later he would visit his home to discuss his future career plans. Jinglong thanked him and left. The students were so impressed with him. Chuan was next. Ling Xuan cheered for him. The principal knew that he's somewhat strange, but he also had unusually high stats. Most people have a total of around 3, but he had 10, 3 times the average. He assumed that something incredible would happen. When Chuan placed his hand on the stone, it glowed brightly in purple and emitted a powerful energy around him. The principal couldn't believe it. Then it revealed that he was God tier. Chuan was shocked. They still couldn't read the whole revelation because of the strong wind. They all thought it was a divine talent. When the wind had settled, the principal was mortified that it was life class, God tier pig butcher. The students started laughing at him. They couldn't even believe that such a dumb class exists. The principal, Zhao Mingping, felt humiliated. After being in the position for so long, he finally saw a God tier class, but the most useless one, a pig butcher. He wished it could have been just a blacksmith, a physician, or alchemist. Either of those would have brought him glory already. He realized that the greater the hope, the greater the disappointment. He thought that the kid would blow them away, but turns out he was a big failure. The principal could only sigh. He has no words for him. Suddenly, something caught Chuan's attention. A system came out. It showed his stats. He's a Tier 1 apprentice with 5 strength, 3 agility, 2 spirit. His talents were Nemesis of the Pig Clan, Blade of Gods, and his class skill was Blood Shadow Butcher level 1. The Nemesis of the Pig Clan deals 50% extra damage to pigs. Each pig killed increases this talent's bonus by 1%. Damage taken from pigs was halved. The Blade of Gods makes his weapon of choice his pig-killing blade. Each pig slain with it grants 0.1 free attribute points. The Blood Shadow Butcher makes the pig butcher release their killing intent, forcing pigs into a 1-second fear state. He carefully read through it. The skills caught his attention. It made him conclude that being crazy has perks. Because in his eyes, the world was full of pigs. Chuan got down from the stage. Everyone was making fun of him. One of them commented that the Qingcheng Academy only has one true dragon, and that was Jinglong. Ling Xuan approached him to comfort him. She patted his head while telling him that his skill was like inheriting his father's legacy. The guys who saw that died from envy. She assured him that his father and her father would be happy for him. They had been neighbors since they were little. Both their parents are from the life class, and they always tried to pair them. The principal called Ling Xuan. Before she comes up to the stone, she wonders if she'll inherit her mom's tailor profession or her dad's brewer profession. She promised him that no matter what class she awakens, she'll always stay by his side. He was left dumbfounded. She placed her hand on the stone. Instantly, it emitted a strong gust of wind. She was horrified at what she saw, while the principal was shocked to see the legendary profession. She was a combat class, legendary Snow Soul Sword Immortal. The principal couldn't believe she awakened a legendary class combat, especially when both of her parents were life class. He concludes that it was a mutation. This girl now exudes a great aura around her body. The principal then assured her that whatever she needs in the future would be provided by the Qingcheng Academy. She thanked him for that. The students started gossiping about how her friend was a pig butcher, and now she's a legendary combat class. They wondered if she would still cling to Chuan. They expected him to get left behind or have the awareness to stay away from Ling Xuan. Chuan congratulated her, but then she called his name coldly. Then she looked down at him while admitting that they had some misunderstandings before. But she assumed that it should be cleared up by then, especially now that they weren't from the same world anymore. He was left speechless. Jinglong and his friend kept smirking. Chuan simply replied, "Okay," like it didn't bother him. Then she told him that he doesn't have to act strong. She added that he's just a pig butcher, so he'll never accomplish anything great, so he doesn't have to blame her. She hoped that he wouldn't bother her again. He replied that if there's nothing else, he'll be going. He left feeling relieved that he had gotten rid of that pig head. Jinglong asked Ling Xuan if she wanted him to teach him a lesson and show him his place. They both had this evil look on their faces. Jinglong called the pig butcher. He was surprised that Chuan just ignored him, so he furiously grabbed his arm. Chuan glared at him and asked what he wanted. Jinglong was intimidated, that it made him stagger backwards. He couldn't understand what happened. The look in Chuan's eyes made him feel like he was a pig, tied up on the chopping block about to be slaughtered. Everyone laughed at him, while his friend approached him and asked what was wrong. Jinglong became angrier. He attacked him for glaring at him. Chuan countered his attack, and their fist met at the center. Then it left Jinglong with excruciating pain. He cradled his broken fist. Everyone was surprised and confused about what just happened. Jinglong couldn't believe that a pig butcher would do that. Chuan argues that it's natural for a pig butcher to have a strong grip strength. They couldn't believe what happened at Jinglong's hand. Jinglong screamed that he'll kill him. He materialized a sword. Now that Jinglong was serious, that brat was as good as dead. They expected Chuan to suffer greatly since he picked a fight with a combat class. Jinglong threatened Chuan that his long blade could slice through steel pipes like nothing. He planned to cripple him right there and then. But his sword froze. His whole body wouldn't move. He asked Ling Xuan why she helped him. She warned him to stop it. She didn't want them to fight just because of her. Then she emphasized to Chuan how they're no longer from the same world. She told him that it would be the last time that she'd help him, so he could think of it as saying goodbye to the past. Then she ordered him to leave. She meant for him to leave Qingcheng because if Jinglong sought revenge again, she would no longer help him. He yawned and replied that if there's nothing else, he'll be leaving already. They saw how he didn't care at all. Chuan walked on a busy street. A dog barked at him. He saw the woman holding the leash as a pig, and the dog looked like a